Fred Pleitkin has the view from the Polish side, and the Belarusian authorities say they are waiting for a decision by German authorities, although it's not clear what they mean by that. What's going on, Fred?
No, you're absolutely right, Becky. It's absolutely not clear what exactly the Belarusian authorities are talking about there. I think some of it probably has to do with the fact that there was a phone call, of course, between Angela Merkel and Alexander Lukashenko that has been talked about a lot in Belarus, also in Belarusian state TV, but surely also by the Belarusian authorities and in that migrant camp as well. And the big question is, will any sort of action follow from that? So far, there's absolutely no indication that the Germans have the will to take any of these people in. In fact, only 2 days ago, the German foreign minister came out and unequivocally said that these people need to return to their countries of origin. Now, whether or not there were some sort of other talks, very difficult to say at this point in time. But I think one thing is definitely clear. The Poles certainly are not going to let anybody pass through that border crossing, pass through that border. They've been absolutely unequivocal about that. And certainly now that some of the pressure has been alleviated from that border crossing, obviously with a lot of those people going to that center where Matthew was at and also leaving that camp that was at the border, the Poles say that they believe that they have prevailed in what they call this first wave of an attack, of a hybrid attack on their border. In fact, the Polish Interior Minister, he came out and he said he firmly believes, and Poland firmly sees, that NATO and the EU are in Poland's corner and that Poland is going to continue to handle the situation exactly the way that it has before. As far as the European Union is concerned, at least they're starting to provide some aid for those people now. They've allocated 700,000 euros in aid for things like blankets to give to NGOs that are operating inside Belarus, they say, to alleviate at least some of the suffering. But in the long term, I mean, there's so many people still stuck inside Belarus. It's going to be very interesting to see what exactly is going to happen to those people. It certainly is very much unclear. We, of course, know, Becky, that there is going to be a flight that the Iraqi government has scheduled to at least to fly maybe 200 people out on Thursday. But what will happen after that, and whether the folks that are there at that processing center and elsewhere in Belarus will even be willing to go home, at least in the medium term, absolutely unclear at this point in time, Becky.
Fred Pleitkin is on the Polish side of the border, and as we were reporting, there are still some 1,000 migrants up against that razor wire on the Belarusian side of the border. We will continue to monitor what is going on. Well, the US is growing increasingly concerned about the migrant buildup along that border and what that means for the wider security situation in Eastern Europe. Over the weekend, a US State Department spokesman called the border crisis an effort to distract attention from Russia's troop buildup on its border with Ukraine. NATO also warning Russia over that buildup of troops. We've seen this again and again with Russia, keen to exploit opportunities to score geopolitical points and to take advantage of perceived power vacuums. Take this region, for example. Many experts I've spoken to tell me that Russia stole the show, frankly, at this Dubai Air Show taking place a couple of kilometers from where we are today, when it showed off its newest fighter jet, the Sukhoi Su-75 Checkmate. That plane is meant to rival the American F-35, a plane that many countries in this region have been trying to buy for years. A proposed US sale of F-35s to the UAE has been slowed since President Biden took office. Well, my next guest couldn't be better placed to discuss all of these regional military implications. Mira Resnick oversees the US State Department's foreign military weapons sales, and she joins me now. And I wanted to start by thanking you for joining us tonight. You've been at the Dubai Air Show, and I want to talk about what you've seen and the discussions that you've been holding there in a moment. I do, though, want to start up with Russia's irregular military movements near Ukraine's border. US officials have said publicly in recent days that they don't know yet what Russia's intentions are. Do you share the concerns that the trend lines are worrying at this point?
Russia is clearly being provocative on the border with Ukraine. And that is why we are looking for every opportunity to help our Ukrainian partners to make sure that our security commitment to them is strong so that they can defend themselves and deter a Russian buildup.
Are you worried about an invasion?
We're concerned about any Russian buildup on this border because, as you said, they do take advantage, and they're looking for every opportunity to build up, and that is really concerning to all of us.
What's the current state of US military aid to Ukraine, and what sort of hardware is involved in that package?
So we have seen in recent weeks shipments of military equipment that are in U.S. stocks. This is a really unprecedented commitment by the United States, including javelins, which we hope will deter Russia's future troop movement.
You're here for the Dubai Air Show, where all three major powers, military major powers, US, Russia and China, are showing off their military hardware. The UAE, of course, is a crucial ally for the US in this region. So why has the Biden administration slowed down the sale of 50 F-35 fighter jets, plus other military hardware, to the Emiratis?
So I joined the Biden-Harris administration on January 20th when the president took office, and we wanted to make sure that any of the commitments that were done by the previous administration that we had a chance to review, that we wanted to make sure that they remain in our foreign policy interest. We took some time, and we announced earlier this year that we are committed to moving forward. I think that this week we were looking to make sure that we recommit to that effort. We want to make sure that our Emirati partners understand that we are fully committed, even as we discuss their obligations before, during, and after delivery.
And you, quote, seek clarifications to the various assurances that were made to the previous administration, that being the Trump administration, by which you mean what?
I can't get into the specifics of our diplomatic conversations with the United Arab Emirates, but I can tell you that the conversations that we have with every partner that is part of the F-35 program that wants to use the F-35, that wants to buy the F-35, we are looking to make sure that the technology security is a part of these negotiations, part of these agreements, because. Bottom line is, we want to protect our warfighter. We want to protect the countries that are using the F-35.
Let's be quite clear here. Does the Biden administration have concerns that the UAE's good ties with China, and they are good ties, including the use of Huawei F5 technology in the UAE, could compromise the security of what is this highly networked F-35?
We are concerned about the 5G use anywhere in the world by untrusted vendors. We have this conversation with all of our partners, not just the UAE, but we want to make sure that that the future of the internet is secure, that it provides U.S. companies with the assurances that that their information is secure, that their data is secure, that their privacy is secure.
Can I just push you on this,
Sure.
Mira Resnick? Is it F-35s or Huawei, but not both, as far as the U.S. is concerned?
The F-35 is our crown jewel of the United States, of our Air Force, and so we need to be able to protect the technology security for all of our partners.
So the answer is yes, as far as you are concerned with the Emiratis.
Those are the conversations that we have with the Emiratis about what kind of choices that they can make now to make sure that they can be a part of the F-35 program.
Were you worried at all about the very visible competition here from the Russians?
I was here to work with U.S. industry. We had 300 Americans, civilian and military here, 100 companies to be able to promote their products. And we don't know exactly how, I don't think anyone knows really how well the Russian equipment works, the Russian systems work. But we were excited because on the flight line, there was a line a mile long to get onto the F-35 mock-up. The U.S. origin equipment there was high interest, so we're looking forward to.
So you didn't sense a sort of waning relevancy for the U.S. as it acknowledges that it's drawing down its military presence in this region. You don't sense in any way a sort of waning of relevance of Washington?
I would say that our relevance actually goes up when we invest in security partnerships here. And that is really the goal of the Biden-Harris administration, to rebuild alliances and partnerships. And that is why we're here today.
The US recently pledged more military aid to Lebanon. How do you expect that money to be spent? It'll be spent, of course, by the Lebanese armed forces, which are a key component of US policy in Lebanon, aren't they?
Yeah, the LAF is really the only institutional counterweight to Hezbollah, and without the LAF, it fills there's a void and would only be filled by Hezbollah, and that is exactly the opposite of what we want to see in Lebanon.
It's a pleasure having you on.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Thank you
very
so much
for spending the time with us, Mira Resnick, here for the Dubai Air Show, and an important job you are doing. Thank you.